Hey, I saw movement, so I figured we'd go ahead and come live. Good to see you again, Abellis and Indy. So glad y'all are here. Aw. Abellis, if I could come move in with you, I would, but you wouldn't want all of the hassle that comes with me. So, yep, we're waiting on court to return. They better let Jose testify today. Like, I hope they get to that point. Hey, Indy girl, what's up? Good to see you. Good to see you. All right, I'm going to grab my coffee real quick. Hey, Julianne, good to see you. Thank you for being here. Fawny, thank you for being here again. I appreciate it. All right, I'm going to grab my... Hey, Ava Slim Jim. Cindy from sunny South Florida. Good to see you. Good to see you. Bad girl, good to see you. It's been such a long time since I saw all of y'all. Y'all better not let it be that long again now, you hear? She said she was hoping to start at 2. I'm like, ma'am, we start at 2. Like that's when we start. It is official that there will be a hearing on Tuesday at 11:15 in the courthouse to hear on the continuance. So we shall see what goes down with that. That's in Stefan's case. Hey, heathen. So I'll definitely be streaming Tuesday morning at 11:15. So we can see if Stefan shows up to court. Rhonda R, good to see you. Good to see you. No, you didn't miss anything. All right, I'm going to go grab my coffee. I'll BRB. Okay, I am back. And we are waiting. I might see if I can pull it up on my phone and watch it that way. We can continue talking about old Brian Kohburger. Oh, Mr. Kohburger. Hold on just a minute. Alrighty. Grab my stuff. Hold on. Alrighty. And we're back. It's good to see you, the classic one. Alright, I suppose we shall pull this up on my phone and look at the Kohburger stuff. AM, good to see you, love. Good to see you. Michael, did Michael come in? I didn't see Michael. Michael, if I missed you or if it's not showing up on my side, I'm sorry I didn't see you, love. Gracie, good to see you. Okay, let's see if we can pull up old Brian Kohburger. She need to get on her arse back in court so that we can get through this doctor and we can continue. Whoa. Do y'all see this right here? Full interview, Gypsy Road Blanchard opens up about life after lockup, and it said, I am a victim and a perpetrator. I thought it said I am a victim of a predator. I was like, whoa, I misread it. Michael, there you are. I see you now. Hey, Hannah. We are just waiting on them to come back. You know, the judge taking. Oh. There's movement in the court. There's movement in the court.
We also please get Dr. Frazer back to the stand.
There him is. All right. Sarah Lee, good to see
The
you.
witness could just retake the stand. Thank you.
I hope she told that prosecutor to calm the F down.
All right, we could please bring in the jury.
Yeah, only 8 minutes late.
You may be seated. Yeah, thank you.
Better than usual, to be fair.
Well, just leave it.
I don't know, Indy. We'll look at it when we go to breaks and things. I'll check and see if there's any updates. That woman's out her damn mind. I suppose when you're already got a life sentence, you ain't got much to lose anyway, so why not? Shit. Welcome back. All right, sorry. Torturing your eardrums.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Counsel, please stipulate to the return of our jurors.
Stipulate to the presence of the jury, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Attorney Stein, you may continue your cross-examination.
Thank you so much, Your Honor.
Sure.
Good afternoon, Dr. Frazer.
Good afternoon.
Do you recall in the morning session, we were discussing this concept of memory loss with regard to full memory loss versus, let's say, a patchy or a partial memory loss. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And I asked you regarding the clinical features of memory loss as to whether a partial memory loss as opposed to a full memory loss had any value with regard to determining whether someone is malingering or not.
Yes, you did.
And would you agree with me that a person who is claiming a full memory loss of an event is more likely malingering than someone who is claiming a partial or patchy memory loss of an event?
Objection, calls for speculation.
Overruled.
I'm
And
not
we're
familiar
off.
with a statistic about
Hey,
that.
Veronica.
Both can happen.
I'm sorry?
I'm not familiar with a statistic on that. Both can happen.
Are you familiar with an article published in a publication called Frontiers in Psychiatry called Testing Claims of Crime-Related Amnesia?
It's possible at some point in time in my career I came across it, but as I sit here today, I don't recall it. But if I refresh, I can make
Sure.
a better determination.
Absolutely.
Hey, Southern.
Provided you with a little sticky here in a highlighted section. Here's the complete article for you.
Bonnie. No, this prosecution was going hard on him, though.
Reviewing an article entitled Frontiers in Psychiatry, Testing Crimes of Crime-Related Amnesia by an author, Marco Jelic, Jelic, which was published in this
I'm sorry.
periodical in November 21 of 2018.
Well, good to know. Calm the titties. Calm your tits. Prosecution needs to calm his tits. Yep, calm your tits. Tell them ladies to take a seat in their designated area. Hey, Linda.
Okay, I've reviewed your highlighted section.
And would you agree with me that the author of this
It
article
is.
has opined that clinical features of memory loss reported by offenders can shine light on the genuineness of their amnesia?
Yes,
And would you agree with me that the author opines that periods of real memory loss have a gradual and blurred onset and termination? Would you agree with me that that is the opinion of this author?
it's one of the opinions in the totality of the article.
Would you also agree that the author opines that amnesic episodes with an abrupt beginning and end would be suggestive of feigned memory loss?
That's another point the author brings up.
Would you also agree with me, the author's opinion, true amnesia usually has, quote, islands of memory, close quote,
That's another opinion the author cites.
and that this opinion of this author is that individuals do not have complete memory loss, but are still able to remember events that occurred during the amnesic period?
May I be heard?
Certainly.
Your Honor, this witness is not offered for issues regarding malingering, which is the basis for that article. He wasn't offered in this regard. I'd ask that all that testimony be stricken.
Yes, Jose's supposed to take the stand after this doctor.
Okay. I'm not going to strike it. The witness did testify regarding memory loss as one of the side effects of PCP. I will note, however, please be careful, counsel, reading into the record any portions of an article or a document that is not in evidence. Thank you.
Dr. Frazer, would you agree with me that patchy and that complete amnesia is an indicative of feigned memory loss in the opinion of this author?
Objection, Your Honor. He's trying to qualify it through the opinion of not this witness, but through this author of this document that no one's
I'll
seen.
sustain the objection.
Dr. Frazer, are you familiar with the second article entitled Disassociation, Defining the Concept in Criminal Forensic Psychiatry?
I'm not familiar with that specific article, but I am specific with the general subject of dissociation.
Would you agree that claims of partial or patchy amnesia are more likely than full amnesia for a whole event, which can signal an attempt to feign an excuse for criminal behavior?
That's the point cited in the article that you gave me.
I'm asking if you're familiar with the second article that says the very same thing.
No, I'm not.
Would you like to see it?
If you'd like me to, yes.
Approaching.
Well, he's not familiar with it, counsel. What are you
Hey,
using
Lisa.
the article for?
Well, what refreshes recollection is
As to whether or not he saw it or heard of the article?
As to whether he agrees with this opinion.
Well, that's not what he said. You're asking him about that article. So, I mean, to refresh his recollection about the article is one thing. Whether or not he agrees with the opinion is another.
Would you agree with the opinion of this author that claims of partial or patchy amnesia are more likely than full amnesia for a whole event?
Same objection.
Sustained. We're not going to talk about a particular author. If you'd like to talk about an opinion, that's fine. Again, counsel, be careful from reading from a document that's not in evidence or someone who's not here testifying.
Dr. Frazer, can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what is the half-life of PCP?
The half-life speaks to the notion of how long a substance, half of the substance remains in the person's body and still active. There's a lot of variability around that. It's roughly around 8 hours. It depends how much of the substance they've used If they use additional quantities of the substance, and that can change the half-life for the person.
Would you agree with me that the literature talks about the half-life being from 7 hours to as long as 7 days in chronic users?
Objection, Your Honor.
Overruled.
So I would agree with you to the extent that that's essentially what I said. I think I just said it using different words, that it averages around 8 hours and it can last longer, going up to days, depending on the amount that's used and depending on how long it's used.
Would you agree this is not a short dissipating drug? It remains for a period of time.
It remains with a half-life on average of 8 hours, and depending on the amount that is used, it can last longer, or if it's a very small amount, it's possible it could last shorter, but there's a lot of variables that are associated with that.
With those variables that you discuss, for a very mild case, would you expect to find the PCP, acute PCP intoxication that you referred to earlier with a mild dose?
Use of PCP would result in intoxication.
My question, doctor, was with a mild dose, would you expect to see the psychotic episodes that you referred to, propensity of the drug, in a mild dose?
Objection to the form of the question. What mild is varies?
Sustained.
Doctor, are you familiar as an expert with regard to the dosing levels of street level PCP?
No, I've never seen scientifically published information on that.
Are you familiar with the level that PCP would become fatal?
My understanding of that is that it depends on individual differences.
Would you agree with me that common street levels run between 1 milligram and 5 milligrams?
I'm not familiar with that reference.
Doctor, are you familiar with the long-term effects on the human body for someone who has had long-term chronic
Okay.
PCP usage?
Yes.
And would you tell us, please?
Well, it's an addiction. So primarily it would include recurring addictive behavior would be the most likely expectation, that the person would continue to seek that drug and continue to use it, and then continue to.
Your Honor, I'm going to move to strike as non-responsive. My question was the effect on the human body.
That's overruled. I'm not going to strike it. You asked him and he's giving you an answer.
Dr. Frazer, would long-term PCP usage lead to chronic PCP usage lead to long-term memory loss?
That's possible.
Could it lead to depression?
That's possible.
Would long-term chronic use of PCP include weight loss?
Hey, Mercedes.
I don't recall that.
Is there anything?
Yep.
Are you familiar with
Exactly,
the Journal
Mercedes.
of Psychiatric Drugs with regard to long-term effects of PCP?
I'm not familiar with the article you're citing.
Dr. Frazer, I'd like to show you what I've marked as states 195 for identification.
Yes, no objection.
May I approach the witness, please?
Yes.
Do you recognize what this document is?
This is my CV.
I'm going to offer states 195 as a full exhibit.
No objection, Your Honor.
No objection. Court will accept into evidence as full 195.
Dr. Frazer, you'll agree this is a CV. Oops, if I get it the right way. You agree with me? This is your CV.
Yes.
You provided this to the defense?
Yes,
Are you aware that the defense provided it to the state pursuant to their obligation to disclose?
yes,
So this top part of your CV contains your educational background that you testified to earlier, correct?
yes,
And I'm sorry, Your Honor, this is, I should put the record. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is a total of 10 pages.
Thank you.
So still on page 1, the second part of the bottom here is these are your academic appointments.
yes,
You're currently an assistant clinical professor. I'll put my glasses on. Yale University School of Medicine, Department of Psychiatry, Psychology Section, Latino Behavior Health Services Consultant. That's where you're at right now?
yes,
In addition to carrying over on the second page, your professional experience down here is Dr. Frazer, LLC, clinical and forensic psychologist, private practice since 2002.
yes.
And
Hey, Orange Rose. I mean, you know, Hannah, it's hard to get something out of the refrigerator when there's a purple dragon standing in front of it, you know?
you've had several appointments, government appointments. Is there anything about any of those government appointments that pertain to a specialty in PCP?
No,
It appears following your CV that you took a course for
Yep, I agree.
a psychotherapist, Yale University Substance Abuse Treatment Center. You participated in a marijuana treatment study. Is that correct?
that's correct.
And that was in 2001, 2002.
Yes,
You, on page 3, you have published 3 publications, one on family law, one on school threats, and another one on school threats. You would agree with me, right?
yes,
Starting below that is a running count of all of the professional presentations that you've given.
yes,
So this is where you're now presenting to people who are listening to you as an instructor.
as part of the teaching faculty or one of the professional speakers, yes.
All right. And I
This
know-
guy is
I know you
just
have a monitor.
talking about the effects of PCP. He's a doctor that talks about that. So I don't know. The prosecution's going in hard on him.
They're up there. But if not, I'll try to make it a little bigger, clearer. Can you tell me on this page, did you ever present any presentations regarding PCP?
No,
How about anything about any drugs at all?
I have spoken about substance abuse as a general topic
I'm on.
at times.
Are we talking about something on page 3?
No,
So let me take you to page 4 then. These are additional presentations that you've made. And I can provide you a copy with your CV if you can't see this, doctor, so you can follow me with your CV. Is there anything here on page 4 of your CV where you have ever presented anything on this page connected to PCP or anything connected to drugs?
the best way I can answer that question regarding my presentations on that page regarding PCP and drugs is that I've never given a specific titled presentation on PCP, but the topic of addiction and substance abuse has been part of some of these presentations in terms of case studies and areas of topic that are related to the presentations themselves.
Can you point out one to me where you presented on that type of subject matter?
Please hit the
This was
thumbs up.
so long ago. We're
Thank
going
you.
back approximately 7 years. I don't want to testify inaccurately and point out one particular one, but I can say with certainty that I have spoken on that topic because the topic of addiction is a common topic in these kinds of matters.
Let's go to the next page, page 5. But same question. Anything on page 5, bless you? Anything on page 5 at all that where the principal topic was PCP or drug addiction?
None were a principal topic.
How about top of page 6? Any of those at the top of page 6 ending with child custody evaluations?
It was not a principal topic.
Okay. So then the next part of your CV is professional development. So now these are classes that you're attending, right? Somebody else is giving and you're going to class to learn about stuff, right?
Well, they generally call them workshops or conferences, not class.
Thank you. So did you attend, and this starts most recently here in 2020 and going backwards, I see topics, sex addiction, forensic evaluation, suicide prevention, drug and alcohol testing, that was one. How long was that one?
I don't recall. It might be on the next page.
Well, I'm going to the top of the next page. Do you recall what the period, was this a one-day class or a multi-day class?
It was definitely a one-day class. I don't recall the amount of hours in that day.
I got you. How about the rest of the page? Anything there where you attended any other presentations, workshops on drugs or PCP?
I can't see the full page, but there is one listed with the date of April 21st, 2017, titled Advances in Substance Abuse Testing.
I'm sorry, say it to me again? Oh, I got you. Right down here. Okay. And that was back in 2017 for one day.
Not sure, Indy. Genevieve, you're funny. Okay, Ava.
Page 8 of your resume, again, back out for you. How about this page? Any of all the things that you've listed, do you see any here that deal with substance abuse or PCP?
Not as a principal topic.
How about page 9? How about, are you able to see? I'll zoom in for you. Anything there where the principal topic was substance abuse or PCP?
No.
Dr. Frazer, would you agree with me that you published 3 articles, nothing to do with PCP or drugs?
That's true.
Would you agree with me that you attended 33 professional presentations, or withdrawn? You provided 33 professional representations, none of them principally dealing with PCP or drug abuse.
None of those were the principal topics.
Would you agree with me that you attended 39 professional development workshops between 2009 and 2020, where your CV is updated to, and maybe 1 or 2 of them dealt with some level of substance
Hi,
abuse or
Vanessa.
addiction? as the
I
principal
meant
topic.
Nessa.
As the principal topic, yes.
You did actually. My copy. You did attend a professional workshop, did you not, on malingering and deception in 2018? Did you not?
Yes, I did.
Dr. Frazer. Did you in fact receive from the law firm of Edward Gavin the fee of $10,000 for the services that you rendered to that law firm for this case?
Yes.
I have nothing further.
Attorney Gavin.
$10,000.
Recall lecturing on numerous occasions to the Connecticut Criminal Defense Lawyers Association?
Yes.
Okay. And tell ladies and gentlemen of the jury, are those members of criminal defense lawyers like myself?
Yes.
You consult with us all the time?
I consult with many lawyers regularly. It's part of my practice, my professional development,
Including criminal lawyers?
including criminal lawyers and including prosecutors.
By the way, Attorney Stein asked you about testifying in regard to the defense of the state. Has Attorney Stein ever called upon you and inquired as to whether or not you could testify for the state?
No, the only prosecutor's office that called was the federal prosecutor's office in New Haven.
Thank you. I have no other questions.
Did you ever testify for, I think you said one time, right? For a prosecutorial office?
For the federal prosecutor's office in New Haven.
And based upon Attorney Gavin's questions, you're out presenting to a defined group of criminal defense attorneys because that's a source of business for you, is it not?
That's not why I present. I present to be involved in cross-disciplinary interaction where I'm often a co-presenter with judges, lawyers, in the venue of criminal law, family law, child protection law.
And you're telling this jury that you are not seeking business of any of those people there. That's what you're telling them?
I've never sought business at any of those venues. I've
I
been
have
invited to speak
I have nothing further.
professionally.
Can you just finish the answer, please, Your Honor?
You have redirect, if you'd like.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You can finish the answer. You had one more word to say, I think.
Thank you, Your Honor. And I'll do my best to complete the sentence accurately. But the point that I was making is that
Well, I just want you to complete the sentence.
I've been invited to co-present and speak professionally.
Thank you.
Thank you. And it was, I think you testified, there's only one occasion that the prosecutor's office, that was the federal U.S. Attorney's Office, requested that you come in and testify as an expert.
Yes.
Okay. No other state attorney's office in the state of Connecticut had requested your services.
Not yet.
Thank you. No other questions. Thank you, Your Honor.
Is that it?
Oh, just one final one.
Okay.
We're talking about now with regard to your expertise in PCP, right? No prosecutor's office has called you with regard to that expertise?
Not yet.
Thanks. I have nothing further.
No other questions. Thank you.
All right, you may step out of the witness box. Thank you.
Thank goodness.
All right, I am
Lord,
going to ask
that man alone.
Madam Clerk to remove the jury just momentarily. This will just be a brief moment of your time. I'm going to ask you to step out of the court.
Indy, congratulations,
you.
my love. That's so awesome. Okay, Basil. Yes, Mama's here. Mama love on you. It is. Michael Green Chili Chicken.
Thank you. All right, so would the defense be prepared to call its next witness?
Yeah.
And that witness would be, who would the witness be? Who would that person be?
Mr. Morales.
Okay, so again, Mr. Morales, I'm going to address you for a moment because I canvassed you earlier about your decision to testify. I'm not going to go through that entire canvas again. It's just that now we've had an additional witness testify, and you've been here and you've been able to listen to that witness's responses on your case. And I just want to make sure that you stand
Trying
by
to
your
warn him.
decision to testify in this case. Okay, all right, I just wanted to put that on the record.
Thank you for doing that, Your Honor. I think the state just needed a.
I think that was not for direct, correct? You don't need time. You don't need any time right now, correct, Attorney Stein?
No.
We're all set to keep going?
3:15 or so, please, Your Honor.
Okay, Attorney Gavin, are we all set to
I'm
go?
prepared to go.
Yeah,
All
just
right.
the afternoon, standard afternoon break would be fine.
Okay, we'll bring the jury back in. Thank you. Counsel sidebar, please.
So here we go. He's about to testify. Give me just a second.
Attorney Kevin and I just virtually.
Certainly.
Teresa. Hello. Hello, everybody coming in just in time to catch him testify. Yeah. The way that prosecution was badgering that witness just now, don't know if it's such a good idea. Really don't. I think the judge was trying to warn him. That prosecution's going to eat him alive. Here we go.
Please enter the stand, remain standing. Madam Clerk is going to put you under oath, okay? Thank you.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or solemnly and sincerely affirm, as the case may be, that the evidence you shall give concerning this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or not guilty of perjury?
I do.
Please state your full name, spell your last name, and state your address for the record, please.
Jose Morales, Morales, Highland Avenue, Cheshire.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. You may be seated. You're all set, Attorney Gavin.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Morales.
Hello, how are you?
Good. Have you ever testified before?
Never.
Okay. A little nervous?
Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
Mr. Morales, we're going to go nice and slow,
All right.
okay? And you let me know if you don't understand any of my questions, okay?
Yes,
All right, sir. How old are you?
I'm 48.
Okay. And where were you born?
I was born in Puerto Rico.
Okay. And just tell us a little bit about your background, sir, where you were raised.
I was born in 1976 in the island of Puerto Rico. It's in the east corner tip of the island. I was there till I was 11 years old. We came into the United States.
There's no question pending.
Yes, sir.
He was talking about where he was born.
I understand, and he's going
What
into a narrative without a question pending.
Okay, all right. Well, it was an open-ended question, but I will go ahead and allow you to continue where you were born. If
I mean, calm your tits, prosecution.
that's it, in Puerto Rico, you can finish with a
May I
follow-up
also
call.
just inquire, Mr. Morales has got something up there that he's.
Napkins.
Okay.
Is it okay?
Yes, I just want to be sure that there wasn't anything that would have been inappropriate.
Attorney Gavin.
Thank you. You were born in Puerto Rico, sir?
Yes,
Okay. Did you come to the United States?
I did.
Okay. When did you come to the United States?
Around 1988, 1989,
And how old were you at that time?
11.
Okay. And sir, where were you raised? In
Oh.
Connecticut.
Well, We first came into Cheshire, and then from Cheshire we moved into New Haven.
Okay. And when you say we, who are you referring to?
My mom, my two brothers, and my father, but my father ended up going back. So my mother and my two brothers,
Okay.
an older brother and a younger brother.
All right. Sir, how about your educational background? Just tell us in your own words what your educational background is.
When we got here, I went into middle school, 7 and 8 in Fairhaven, then high school, and I got a little bit of college education from Gateway Community College.
At New Haven Community College?
Yes,
Okay, thank you, sir. Sir, I want to get this out of the way. Do you have a felony conviction from 2012 and a misdemeanor conviction from 2006?
I do.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. All right, now, I want to talk about your relationship with Christine Holloway, okay?
All right.
I want you to tell us in your own words, when did you meet Christine Holloway?
I met her late fall, early winter 2016.
Okay? And did you enter into a relationship with her?
Well, at first we met through a dating app, and we started communicating. Then we exchanged numbers. We started talking, and eventually things grew, and we got to know each other good, and we started dating.
Okay, all right. So how long have you been dating Christine Holloway from the time that you first met her through December 2019?
Around 3 years.
Okay, all right. Can you tell us your mom's name?
Lydia de Jesus.
All right. And do you have a stepfather?
Yes, I do.
Okay, what's his name?
Marcos Garcias,
And where do they reside?
New Haven, Connecticut.
Okay, can you tell us the address?
105 First Avenue, New Haven, Connecticut.
Okay. And sir, back in 2019, did you own an automobile?
I do.
And
I
what,
did.
and what kind of automobile was that, sir?
Nissan Sentra,
Okay.
2003,
Okay,
tan color.
thank you. Sir, I'm going to call your attention to the Thanksgiving weekend of 2019, and we're going to start with Wednesday, which was 11/27, okay?
Okay.
So these questions are all involving Wednesday, 11/27, all right? Sir, were you employed as of Wednesday, 11/27, 2019?
No,
Okay. Where were you residing?
2 places.
Okay.
I was living with my parents in New Haven, and I had an apartment with Christine in Ansonia. So in the weekends, I lived in Ansonia. In the weekdays, I lived in New Haven because I had 2 kids that in New Haven, I lived with my 2 kids in my parents' house. And then I ended up having a kid with Christine. So we got an apartment, and I was also living there.
Okay. Now, was Christine employed back in November of 2019?
Yes.
Okay. And do you know where she was employed?
She was working at a daycare, Morning Bright Daycare in Bridgeport.
All right. Okay. And you were familiar with that place of employment, I take it,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Now, this is the day before Thanksgiving. This is Wednesday. So I'm going to call your attention to the afternoon of Wednesday, November 27, 2019. Can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what happened that day?
Well, Wednesday, I remember that I was in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Well, we were decorating, I was decorating the outside of the house for Christmas. Well, we consider Thanksgiving the inauguration of Christmas, so to speak, the Christmas season. So right before Thanksgiving, my mom and I, we had a whole bunch of different Christmas stuff, and we started decorating, and it was me and my son that were decorating outside
Okay.
in the afternoon of Wednesday.
All right. Let's go into the evening hours. What happened in the evening hours?
Well, Christine and I and my son Isaac and I had stayed in Christine place in Ansonia the weekend prior to that Wednesday. So we had made plans that for the Thanksgiving holiday, Christine was gonna, she was going to sleep over with us in my parents' house. So she was coming directly. Wednesday, she was working. Half like she was getting out of work around 3:30, but she said she was gonna get out of work a little before that. So around 3, she said she got out of work and she was heading directly to my parents' house. The day before that, I told her to pack
Mr.
everything in.
Morales,
Yes,
just talk about what happened on the Wednesday. Did Christine show up at your parents' house?
yes, she did.
Okay, all right, all right. And did she spend the evening there?
She did.
Okay, and can you just tell us who was there? Was your mom and dad there?
Well, my stepfather was there, my mother was there, my son Isaac was there, my daughter Isabella was there, and that was it.
Okay.
And Christine and Vanessa and me.
Great. And that was Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And did she sleep over at the residence at 105 First Avenue that night into Thanksgiving morning?
Yes, she did.
All right. Okay. Now, the I'm just going to call your attention. Now we're going to move to the following day, which is Thursday. Okay.
All right.
Thanksgiving Day. Tell the ladies and gentlemen, the jury, in your own words, what happened on Thursday.
All right. So on Thursday, I woke up around. Well, we got up a little bit late because it's a holiday. My mom got up early because she was doing the Christmas cooking. I mean the Christmas cooking, the Thanksgiving cooking. So she got up early for the preparations. Um, Christine and I ended up helping her in the kitchen for a little while. Around noon, we said that we decided to go into Christine's grandmother's house in Bridgeport just to visit with them for a little while. So around 1 o'clock, we left New Haven. Christine, myself, and Vanessa, we left New Haven and went directly into Bridgeport, which is where Christine's grandmother lived at. We ended up getting there around 2 o'clock maybe. We were there for like 2 hours. I remember that her grandmother was there, her mother was there, her sister, her brother. Somebody else was in the house, but he never came out the room. We was there for like 2 hours. We had a Thanksgiving meal together. We play around, everybody enjoy. We was just in the house hanging out with each other. Everybody was playing with Vanessa. We had a good time. It was a good Thanksgiving day. No problem, no trouble, no nothing. We just enjoying each other.
Did you come a point where you left Bridgeport and returned to New Haven?
Yes.
Tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury when that was.
After we had the Thanksgiving meal at Grammy House, we say our goodbyes. We got in the car and we just drove directly to New Haven,
Okay.
to my parents' house.
And did you stay in New Haven on Thanksgiving night, which was the 29th? Excuse me, the
Yes.
28th. Sorry about that. On the 28th, Thursday, the 28th, did you stay in New Haven that evening?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I'm going to take you to the following day, okay, which is the Friday, and that would have been the 29th of November. And I want you to tell us in your own words what happened. Let's start with the morning and into the afternoon of Friday, 11/29.
So Friday, I got up early. Well, around 8 o'clock, 8:30 in the morning. Christine, she was sleeping upstairs in my daughter Isabella's room because my mom and my parents are conservative, extremely conservative, and there was gonna be, according to, no fornication in their house. So if I sleep over, if I have Christine sleep over, she's gonna sleep in one room. I'm gonna sleep in a different room because that's the way that my mom allowed it. So she was sleeping in my daughter's room. So I get up around at 8:30. I get ready. I go upstairs. I knocked on the door. I go inside the room. She's in there. She's feeding Vanessa. I play with Vanessa for a little while, and we start talking about a noon appointment that we had because when she got to the house on Wednesday, she told me that.
Objection is to what somebody said.
Just tell us what you did.
All right. Well, she was using my car. Kristen been using my car since the fall. I mean, since before summer of 2019, and I was using her car because my car was a little bit better than hers. Her car had no AC. So because her car had no AC, I didn't want her driving around in the summer with Vanessa in a car that has no AC. So she's been using my car, and I was using the Mazda. I didn't have much to drive. She was going
Just
from
hold on one second.
Ansonia.
You just said a Mazda. What kind of car? Whose car was the Mazda?
The Mazda 2002 was Christine car.
Okay, right. So now let me take you to the afternoon. I want to ask, did you come a point where you left the house in New Haven, and did you leave with anybody else?
Yes. So around noon, we had we had an appointment to go and talk to a salesman at Barberino Nissan in Wallingford. The appointment was at 12 o'clock. So a little bit before 12 o'clock, Christine, myself, and Vanessa, we got in the Nissan in my car and left to Barbarinos, and I made a quick stop, bought a couple of Lucy's cigarettes because I was trying to quit smoking cigarettes. I wasn't buying a pack of cigarettes, so I bought Lucy's, and we headed to Barbarinos.
Okay, and what was the purpose of you and Christine Holloway going to Barberino?
Well, we wanted to get a newer car because both of our cars were old. Mine was a 2003, hers was a 2002. But my car was in a little better conditions than hers. So we was gonna get her a car first, and then after we'll wait for a little bit longer, and then we was gonna get me a car. So we went to Barbarinos to purchase a car for Christine.
Okay, and just tell us, and that was, you had a 12 o'clock appointment. Were you there in the afternoon, which would have been Friday the 29th, sir?
Yes.
And approximately how long were you there?
Well, we got there around 12:15, and we were there till like 5 o'clock.
Okay, now, were you able, or you or Christine or both of you, were you able to go ahead and select a replacement car?
Objection at this point, Your Honor. He's leading. I've been.
Overruled.
You can,
So when we got there, we started talking to the salesman. The salesman started doing the credit background and things of that nature. He was approved. So once he was approved, he went and got a vehicle for us to see. Once the vehicle was there, I said, Christine, go take it for a ride. I'm gonna stay with Vanessa in here. She took it for a ride. She came back. She loved it. So the decision was made to buy it. The paperwork was being done. Everything was approved. So the salesman asked me, because it was some cash that was going to be given for the vehicle and her Mazda. So her Mazda was going to be a trade-in, part of the down payment for the new car, for the Ford. So the salesman asked me if I can go, if the
Objection to what the
Mazda.
salesman said,
you can't
please, Your
testify.
Honor.
All right,
Mr. Morales, just stay with me for a second.
all right.
Did you leave the dealership and go get Christine's Mazda?
Yes.
And did you return it to?
Objection leading, please, Your Honor.
It's just
Sus-
background.
Sustained.
Okay, sir. Did there come a point in the afternoon where when you left Barberino?
Yes.
Why?
So I left to go get Christine Mazda. It was
Okay.
parked in front of my parents' house in New Haven. So I went from Wallingford to New Haven, and I was driving the Mazda. I was driving the Nissan, the one that we took to Wallingford. I drove to my parents' house in New Haven. I parked the Nissan, jumped in the Mazda, and drove right back to Wallingford.
Okay. Your Honor, if we may, I need Exhibit 161.
Sure.
With the assistance of the state, please. Just the cash report. Mr. Morales, I'm going to show you what's been marked as Exhibit number 160, which is full exhibit, which is the cell phone tracking device. Do you have a monitor up there you can
Yes.
see? Okay. All right, sir. So the cell phone tracking device indicates on Friday that your cell phone, I'm going to ask you what it is in 1 second, that your cell phone tracked from from the New Haven area up to the Wallingford area. See that?
Yeah, I see it.
Can you just tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what your cell phone was back in November 2019?
203-809-2849.
Was that accurate that you left New Haven and you went up to Barberina?
Yes.
And this analysis is from 10:47 to 11:36. Your Honor, I'm now going to turn the page to page 10. Okay. You see that on the monitor?
Yes.
And that's the time frame from 11:36 a.m. to 2 p.m. And sir, do you see Barberino Nissan with the icon in the middle of
Yes.
the area?
I do.
Right, that shows that your cell phone was there at Barberino, correct?
Yes.
No,
He's
no
leading
question
you
about
again, Your
that.
Honor, please.
Sustained, just be careful with the reading.
Thank you. I'm gonna now turn the page, Mr. Morales, which is page 11 of the cast report. Okay, and from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m., you see that?
I do.
Okay, and do you see the direction to travel?
Yes.
What was the direction to travel?
Back to New Haven.
Okay. And did that happen?
Yes.
Okay. Tell us in your own words, sir. What time did you leave Barberino and where'd you go?
We left around 5:30, something like that. And we went directly to my parents' house in New Haven. We did a little joyriding to test drive the car a little bit more, but then we went directly to my parents' house.
And just tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, do you recall what type of vehicle was purchased at Barberino?
Yes, it was a Ford Focus, black Ford Focus.
All right. Now, so you told us you returned back to New Haven, correct?
Yes.
Tell us in your own words what happened next.
So when we got back, the first thing that happened was that my Isaac and Bella, my children, they came outside and started playing with the car, jumping in, looking at it. We went back inside. Wednesday, I started, when I was doing the decoration, I told my mother, I'm gonna continue it on Friday after Thanksgiving Day. So as soon as we got back, we continued doing it with the decorations. I went, we ate, then we went in the living room and we were decorating the Christmas tree.
What happened next after you decorated the Christmas tree on that Friday?
Well, after a while I was decorating the Christmas tree, somebody started calling me or texting me.
Okay, all right. Let's talk about Christine. What did Christine do?
Well, she was helping us.
Okay, just after you were done helping, what happened next?
Well, I got a text and a call from this guy that wanted a ride.
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained, I'll strike the portion of the response that says that wanted a ride, that's hearsay.
Okay, let me focus you here, okay? Because you can't testify what somebody else said or text you.
Okay.
Okay, so let's just talk about what you observed, okay? All right, where, if anywhere, did Christine stay at 105 First Avenue in New Haven?
No.
Okay, just tell us, where did Christine go?
Okay, I get it. So once we got done with everything, the decoration, and it was time to go, she was gonna go back. So I started getting the phone calls and the text, whatever, from a person. And I helped her. We packed up. I put everything in the car. So I told her, I said, all right, so I'm gonna see you in a little while. I'm gonna go somewhere, and then after I do whatever I gotta do, I'll meet you in Ansonia. She was like, okay.
Objection to what someone else said, please, Your Honor.
Sustained as to what
You can't
Christine
testify
said,
what
I'll
somebody
just
else
strike
said.
that from the record then.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
Mr. Morales, I want you to stay focused now.
Hey.
Okay?
Yes.
All right, where did Christine go?
I'm going to pause it real quick. I'm going to disappear for a minute and I'm going to come back and see if it'll stop being glitchy. Oh, no, never mind. Hmm.
She went back to
Objection,
Ansonia.
speculation.
I'll s-
He's,
I'll sustain it unless he has personal knowledge.
Do you know where Christine was going to?
Well,
Just, sir,
yes,
yes or no?
yes,
Yeah, okay. And where was that?
back
Again,
to the
speculation.
apartment,
I'll allow it.
back to the apartment in Ansonia.
Okay.
When they break, I'll try to see if I can fix it.
That's 6.5 Myrtle Avenue in
Six and
Sonia.
a half Myrtle Avenue. Yes.
Okay. So let's go. So she left, correct?
Yes.
Okay, now let's go slow.
Well, I left first, and
Okay.
then she was.
Okay, you left. You tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, where did you go?
I went to a guy named Hector's house
Okay, why?
because he wanted a ride.
Objection, Your Honor, is to what
Well,
he said.
I went
I'm
to.
gonna, hold on a minute. Are you claiming that
Yes, sure.
as?
Yeah.
What's the exception you're gonna say?
It was the effect on the
Okay,
jury.
all right. So ladies and gentlemen, the statement because he wanted a ride is not being offered for the truth of the matter as to what Hector said. It's to show the conduct or the effect of those words on Mr. Morales and why he went to Hector's house, okay? Not being offered for the truth of the matter. So I am limiting your consideration to that response solely as it applies to the effect on Jose Morales's conduct upon hearing that. All right, you may continue.
Without telling us what anybody else said,
Okay.
we just want to ask you, what did you do into the evening hours of Friday, the 29th of 2019? Just tell us what you did, sir.
So after leaving my parents' house, I went into Hector's house, picked him up, and drove to Bridgeport
Okay, why'd you drive to Bridgeport?
because he wanted a ride.
Okay, why?
He asked me for a ride.
Objection.
Okay.
Sustained
No.
in terms of what Hector asked for. And again, ladies and gentlemen, the whole he wanted a ride and the reason for going to Bridgeport, I think we understand the connection to show the effect on the listener, which was Jose Morales not being offered for the truth of the matter. You may proceed.
Thank you. Did you go to Bridgeport?
Yes.
What did you do in Bridgeport, Connecticut?
When we got to Bridgeport, first, I don't really know my way in Bridgeport, so he was guiding me around. We got we went to a gas station. He went inside. Then we left the gas station and we went to meet somebody that he wanted to meet.
Okay, all right, and then what happened?
So we met this guy, the guy that he was going to meet. He wanted to buy drugs.
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
What
I'll just-
fact?
Southern Cats, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. I really appreciate that. That was so sweet of you. Those went to Lady K Talks, T Marie, TMRM, JGR, and Jesse Jean True Crime. If you were gifted from Southern Cats, please tell them thank you, and I will grab the crazy train and pick y'all up on the way to Speculation Station.
I'm going off the rails on a crazy train.
Thank you so much, Southern Cats. That was so very sweet and supportive of you. I really appreciate that. My clip seemed to work, so I don't know what's being glitchy. I don't know, like, if I leave the studio, I don't know if it'll, like, shut the live down. So hopefully, I paused it for a second, so hopefully it won't be glitchy. Y'all are so sweet. Thank you so much, Southern Cats. That was so sweet. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Just indicate to the jury that they're to strike that portion of the response from Mr. Jose Morales on the stand that said he wanted to buy drugs. You may proceed.
Okay, you can't testify what Hector said or somebody else. Just tell us your own observations. What happened in Bridgeport?
All right. So we met with the person that he asked for the right to meet for.
That's fine. You may continue.
And what happened next? Just tell us in your own words what happened.
All right. So he got whatever he wanted to get, and we drove away from that area.
Okay,
So as we driving away, he's rolling a blunt.
all right, just go slow now for us. What's a blunt?
Oh, a blunt is when you got the a cigar, you take the guts out of a cigar and you put weed in it, or you put whatever it is that you want to put in it. They roll it up and you smoke it.
Okay, all right, so thank you. So you were in the vehicle, Mr. Morales, and just tell us in your own words, what happened?
All right, so I'm thinking that he's rolling a blunt. I'm thinking that he's rolling weed, but I'm not sure because I'm driving and he's guiding me around. So he starts smoking. He passed it. He passed it to me. I start smoking too. So we start smoking together. Next thing you know, I wake
I don't believe that. I heard PCP was his drug of choice.
up somewhere else in Bridgeport, in the passenger seat of my car, with Hector in the driver's seat. It's a whole bunch of people around the car. He's talking. I don't know any of these people. These are his friends. He's talking to them, and I'm like, "What happened?" And they start laughing, like I passed out. So I said, "Let's get out of here. Let's go." So he turned the car on, and we just take off.
Okay, now, were you in the passenger seat or the driver's seat at that
I was in the passenger seat.
point? Okay, just 1 second if I may, Your Honor. Sir, I'm going to show you what's been previously marked as the cast report on the time frame on Friday evening. Just 1 second, please. Just wanna make sure I have the page.
I agree, Cindy. I think he knew it had it in it.
And, sir, did you have your cell phone with you
I did.
when you went down to Bridgeport?
Yes.
Okay, all right, that's fine. That's fine. Now, you said that you were in the car, you smoked something, and then there came a point that you left Bridgeport. Is that correct?
Yes.
And approximately what time was that?
I'm thinking around 9 o'clock,
All right.
8, 9 o'clock at night.
Okay. Now, you're in Bridgeport, 8, 9 o'clock at night. Now, Mr. Rodriguez is driving and you're in the passenger seat. Is that correct?
Yes.
And tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, where'd you go?
Well, as we driving back, I'm still in and out of it because I was high. I got so high that I wasn't really focusing on anything. I couldn't focus on anything.
All right, let me stop you there. When you say you were in and out of it, tell us what that means.
That means I was in and out of consciousness. Like I was just drifting from consciousness into non-conscious.
Okay. Had you ever been in that state before?
Yes.
Okay. And sir, as you sit here now, do you know what it was that you ingested when you were in Bridgeport?
Yeah. He rolled the bag of dust.
Okay.
Blunt, PCP.
All right. So when you say he rolled a bag of dust, tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what that means.
He in the blunt that he was rolling, he put dust. He rolled the bag of dust.
All right. The jury doesn't know what dust is. Okay. So we have to go slow here. Okay. All right.
Sorry.
You said that it was PCP. Is that
Yes.
correct? And just tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, does PCP also have other street names?
Yes.
Okay.
PCP
And what
is also known as angel dust.
is known as angel dust?
Yes.
Okay. So when you had ingested and you had smoked the marijuana blunt, it had PCP in it, correct?
Yes.
And you had
Your Honor, I'm going
ingested.
to object at this point to leading. First of all, there's no evidence before this jury that it is marijuana. His testimony was he thought they were going to purchase marijuana, but now he's testifying that he smoked dust. So there is no evidence at this point of marijuana.
I'll sustain the objection.
And I would ask again that the questions not be leading, please.
So you were in New Haven. You felt the effects of what you smoked, correct?
Yes.
Had you felt like that previously when you had ingested drugs in the past?
Yes.
Okay, tell us what happens when you ingested drugs like that in the past.
Well, I started smoking PCP or angel dust when I was like 16 years old. And I've been smoking it ever since.
Your Honor, I'm going to object at this point that this is improper
Hey, Julie.
propensity evidence, character evidence, what he did at a previous time. is not relevant
Oh.
to.
All right, I'll allow the answer, if the answer is going to be what, in response to the question was, which was, how had you felt like that previously when you had ingested drugs in the past? Just how he felt, not a recitation of the history of any drug ingestion. So partially, I guess, sustained, but I will allow the answer to the actual question that was asked.
You can answer. the-
Just
the-
how he felt.
How'd you feel?
previously.
Was it similar to how you had felt in the past when you had ingested drugs?
Yes,
Okay.
it was a relapse.
Now, I want you to tell,
Your Honor, I would move to strike. It
Okay,
was
I'll move-
non-responsive.
I'll strike, it was a relapse, so I'll strike that from evidence as unresponsive. The only answer that you should consider at this point would be the yes. All right, Attorney Gavin, you may
Thank you,
proceed.
Your Honor.
Thank you.
okay, we have to be very careful with our answers, okay? All right,
Yes.
Mr. Morales? But you told us that you had felt like that in the past, is that correct?
Yes, I have.
And please tell the ladies and gentlemen, when you were in the car in Bridgeport going back to New Haven, how did you feel?
Well, like I said before, I was in and out of it because I haven't smoked that in so long that
Objection,
Just
Your
how
Honor.
did you feel?
Sustained.
And I would also ask the defendant move closer to the mic because I can barely hear him.
All right,
Okay.
so
No,
let me deal with one thing at a time. So again, I'll sustain the objection. We're just going to answer the question that's asked, and I will ask you please to just keep your voice up a little bit, Mr. Morales, so everyone can hear you, and just make sure you're keeping up close to the mic. All right, Attorney Gavin.
All right.
Thank you.
So you were describing how you felt in the vehicle. Tell us with specificity, how did you feel in the vehicle?
well, I was high, confused. Everything was blurry. I couldn't really see. I had no focus. Everything seemed really dark, and that's how I felt.
That's fine. Where did you go after you left Bridgeport?
Well, we were supposed to go
No,
directly to
where
New Haven.
did you go? Just tell us where you went, not where you were supposed to go.
Well, I remember several stops were made in our way back to New Haven from Bridgeport.
Okay, just tell us where. What do you
Not
recall?
clear. I don't remember. I was in and out of it, but I know that we stopped in a couple of spots.
Oh, okay. So just so the testimony's clear, you recall stopping, but you don't know the location. Is that fair?
Exactly. I wasn't driving, and I wasn't.
The question's been asked, Your Honor.
Asked and answered.
Okay. Where, after you left Bridgeport, you told us the condition that you were in. Did you return anywhere?
We went back to Hector's house
And where was that located?
in East Haven.
In East Haven, Connecticut. Okay. And what time did you get back to Hector's house? Approximately.
10 o'clock, 10:30.
All right. And just tell us in your own words, what did you do next after you returned to East Haven, Connecticut?
So once we got to his house, we parked them behind the house. We went inside. Hector started talking to some people. He started making drug
No, no.
transactions.
No, you can't talk about what somebody else said or did. Just tell me, you went back to New Haven to Hector's house,
Yeah,
correct?
all right. So
Okay. How long were you at Hector's house?
we went upstairs. I was there for, once we got inside his house, there was some other people in there. They were really not that friendly to me. So at the same time, I got a call from Christine. I went outside the house. I talked on the phone for a little while. I said, I'll be there in a few minutes. We just got back. She was waiting for me in Ansonia. It was supposed to take 2 hours top right, and it's already like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, almost 12, midnight, whatever. And I told Hector, all right, I'm leaving. And I can say what he did. or
Sure.
no? So he started like he went in his pocket and he started giving me stuff. And I was like, what's this? And he was like,
Objection as to what he said.
But just be careful not to say what he said. You can talk about his actions, but not what he said.
What did Hector do?
well, he gave me everything that was in my pockets, all my stuff. Somehow he had it. And he gave it to me. He said something. And I took it. but he also gave me 2 bags of dust. And
Okay,
he
let me
said-
just stop you there. Is that the PCP you referred to?
Yes,
Okay. And just tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, he gave you 2 bags. Describe it for the jury.
well, it's 2 like dime bags, little Ziploc bags that you put weed in it or whatever. Two bags of that.
Okay. And then what happened next?
Well, I grabbed everything that he would give because he gave it to me with the other stuff that he was giving it. I grabbed everything and I got out of there because the guys that were in there with him gave me a bad vibe. So
Okay, so let me just stop you, okay? So you left the apartment, is that
yes.
correct? Okay, and where did you go?
Well, I went into my car.
Okay, all right, and you went into the Nissan Sentra,
Yes.
okay, and just
Objection,
tell,
we're leading. No, Your Honor.
I'll allow that.
Well,
just tell us, where'd you go next?
so I got in my car. I wanted to get out of there. First of all, I didn't
It's
want to.
non-responsive, Your
Sir,
Honor.
where did you go next? You were at Hector's. Where did you go next?
Well, I drove to like downtown New Haven and I parked somewhere.
Okay, how long were you there?
Not sure.
Okay, what happened next that you recall?
Well, I parked because I wanted to get my head straight a little bit because I was still like, I'm lucky I made it to downtown New Haven.
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Sir, you got to answer my questions, okay?
Yes.
All right, you said you left Hector's, you went to downtown New Haven, you
Yes.
parked the car. Do you
Yes.
have any recollection how long you were there?
Probably half hour, 40 minutes.
All right, and just tell us what happened next, sir.
Well, Christine called me again. So I turned the car on and I started driving to Ansonia.
Okay, where were you going to?
Ansonia.
Okay, all right, at 6.5 Myrtle Avenue?
Yes,
Okay, and did you arrive there at 6.5 Myrtle?
I did.
Okay, and approximately what time was it?
12,
Okay.
12:15.
All right, okay, and what did you do when you arrived at 6.5 Myrtle? This is,
So I parked. I got out of the car. I started grabbing the stuff. I went in my pockets looking for the key. I couldn't find the key to my key to the apartment was missing. I couldn't find that, so I called Christine.
okay. And then what did you do? Did you go into the apartment?
Well, once the door was unlocked, I grabbed everything that from the car. I grabbed my laptop, my backpack, the base to the car seat that was still in my car. So I grabbed that and I went inside.
Into the apartment at 6.5 Myrtle,
Inside the apartment of
right?
6.5
And
Myrtle
Christine
Ave.
Holloway was there, correct?
Yes.
Objection, Your Honor, we're leading. And also, can we approach a logical breaking point for the afternoon recess at some point, please?
We'll break at 3:30. You may continue.
Thank you.
You went into the apartment.
Yes.
Okay, what did you do next?
Well, the first thing that I did was I put this stuff down. Christine was on the bed. All the lights were off. I walked up to Christine. I gave her a kiss. I started talking to her and I told her about what this dude just did to me.
Okay, did you stay in the apartment?
Yes.
Okay, all right, so now this is now into Saturday morning, okay? Yeah.
Yes.
You oriented with me?
Yeah. I'm
Okay,
here.
right, so you had left Bridgeport and New Haven and you went back, now it's Saturday morning, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, now, on Saturday, which would have been the 30th, tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, what did you do on Saturday, November 30th, 2019?
Well, that day we woke up around 8 in the morning, 8:30. I went in the bathroom, did my thing. Christine was taking care of Vanessa. We were just in the house. I didn't do nothing. We didn't go nowhere.
Okay, just, did you leave the apartment on Saturday, November
No, I
30th?
didn't leave the apartment at all on Saturday. We
Did-
were in there.
Did Christine Holloway leave the apartment on
No, she
Saturday?
didn't.
Okay, you were there the entire day?
Yes.
Okay, now, I want to take you to the evening, Saturday evening into Sunday morning. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Okay. Let's start from the midnight timeframe, okay? What did you do around midnight on, which would now be Sunday, December 1st, 2019?
So we were watching TV all day, right? So around midnight, I started getting them cravings for dust that I had just smoked. And it started running through my mind that I still had 2 other bags, right?
I can't hear him, Your Honor.
You have to speak
So
loud.
it was going through my mind that I still had 2 bags of dust left. So the craving was getting the best of me. So I told Christine I'm about to roll a bag and smoke. She said, okay. whatever.
Objection, Your
Don't
Honor.
say what she said. Just say what you
Move to
did.
strike it, please.
Sustained. Court is going to strike what Christine said. You're not to consider that as evidence. Thank you.
Please, just tell us what you did, sir.
All right. So after I rolled a bag, I went outside to the front of the apartment to the deck
To
to
the deck.
smoke.
Okay, and what did you do on the front of the deck?
I smoked the bag of dust. I smoked the blunt.
Okay, all right. And how long were you outside?
This was around 1 o'clock. When I went outside to smoke, it was around 1 o'clock in the morning. And probably 10 minutes. I was out there for like 10, 15 minutes smoking. And I smoked the whole blunt.
Okay, and what'd you do next?
Well, I got super high. Obviously, I haven't smoked in a
Objection,
while.
Your Honor.
Sustained.
What happened next? What'd you do next?
So I was high. I got sort of what happened Friday. I got disoriented. Everything got blurry. I couldn't see clear. I was stumbling. Sort of like it's like taking a gallon of vodka and drinking it in one shot. So, anyways, I stumbled my way inside of the apartment. I left the screen door closes itself. I left the door open because the front door I left it ajar, whatever, and I walked right inside into the bathroom.
Okay, what'd you do when you were in the apartment?
I went into the bathroom.
Okay, and what'd you do in the bathroom?
In the bathroom, I sat on the toilet, not to use the toilet, but just to sit there because next to the toilet there's a window. There's a sky window on top of the tub that we leave open. So inside the house, I can only smoke cigarettes only in the bathroom with the door closed. So I went and sat down on the toilet. I cracked the window because once I crack that window, I can light a cigarette. And if I light a cigarette with only one window open, the smoke stays inside. But once I open the other window, the smoke goes out of one window faster. So I sat on the toilet and I started smoking a cigarette and I started looking out the front window. And I was like dosing off and
Your Honor, I'm going to
Hi.
object to the narrative at this point. Just, it's a running narrative.
Okay, well, we'll stop
Okay.
at that point and then you can continue.
Thank you. Okay, so at that point, you were in the bathroom, you looked out the window. What did you see and what did you do?
all right. So as I'm sitting there looking out the window, smoking the cigarette, I look and from across the street in Myrtle Avenue, from across the street, from the east side of the house, which is if you facing out the right side of the house across the street in the sidewalk, I start seeing movement coming on the sidewalk.
Okay.
Before we
Movement-
go further, Your Honor, at this point, can we have our afternoon recess, please? Because
Sure.
I think we're going to get into
We can do that. I had originally said 3:30, but apparently we need a break. So I am fine with that. We're going to take our morning recess. So I would ask the clerk to excuse our jury. Jurors will take our afternoon recess, 15 minutes. Thank you.
He needs to calm the fuck down. I mean, I understand I knew the prosecution was going to tear into him, But it's like, God almighty, she said 3:30. It's 3:27. Goodness gracious, sir. Calm down. I need him to calm his tits. All right, I'm going to play Kohburger. We're going to go back to Kohburger. First, I'm going to try to leave the studio real quick and see if it, and come right back and see if it's glitchy. If for some reason the stream ends, I'll start one right back up. So I'm going to try this real quick. Hopefully it'll make it stop being glitchy. Okay, I think we're back. I think we're good. Hopefully we're good now. Let me close out this YouTube and then bring it back up. I don't have a background right now because I remove it so that it's not glitchy. All the phones are off and everything, so. Except for mine, like the kids are outside playing with their friends and all of that, so. Okay. Let's look at the history, and there we go. We'll continue watching Kohburger. All right. So we're watching moments from the Kohburger hearing the other day, and I am
too much. Prosecutor Ashley Jennings responded that DM
and I'm watching on my phone for court to come back.
is a reliable witness.
The male DM saw that night was covered head to toe. The only thing that was uncovered was a portion of his face. That does not lend itself to positively identifying any particular person. Therefore, an identification procedure was not used, and that Manson-Biggers test is inapplicable. Instead, on 4 separate occasions before Brian Kohburger was even identified or arrested, DM gave consistent descriptions of the male she saw in the residence that night at around 4 a.m. Every time she described this person as being white, male, wearing all black, a few inches taller than her, she's 5'10", wearing a mask, skinny, athletic, tone build, and not a voice that she recognized. During 3 of those interviews, she then describes the male's eyebrows, and she describes them as being bushy. Obviously, there was some focus on the eyes or the eyebrows by investigators because this is the only portion that she could see. She never wavers in her description of the person that she saw. She's very clear about what she does remember and what she doesn't remember.
Talking about the bushy eyebrows, I think that Jose Morales is a perfect example of why you should not take the stand, but we haven't even seen the worst of it yet. Wait until the prosecution gets a hold of him. He's going to tear him a new arsehole. Apparently, just what his bushy one brow was poking out. Firefly mass holes unite. Recently found this channel. Absolutely love content and chat. I'm usually at work, but I'm always listening, and hit the thumbs up. Well, thank you, sweetheart. That's so very sweet of you. And thank you for dropping in to say that. I appreciate it. I've been doing trials, so chat's been kind of calm. When we go back to Stearns, it'll probably be up and crazy again. Thank you, though. That was so very sweet of you to say, and that really touched my heart. You're so sweet. I love y'all. Y'all are so amazing. It's so sweet. We really have the best group on YouTube. I know everybody says that, but we really do. I love y'all.
Defense put the state of Mr. Kohburger's eyebrows into question. In an attempt to discredit DM's testimony or description, they wrote, Mr. Kohburger does not have bushy eyebrows.
Judge Hippler did not rule on that motion. He will do so later. Now, just in the last month, the defense has revealed that Brian Kohburger has been diagnosed with autism, and they're revealing this for a number of reasons. But first, Kohburger's lawyers say they don't want his autism used against him as an aggravating factor in the penalty phase if the jury finds him guilty.
Your Honor, when I look through the mounds of discovery, there are probably 100 hours of interviews of people that Mr. Kohburger went to school with at WSU. And of course, those interviews come just hours and days after the headlines hit that Mr. Kohburger's been arrested in this case. And people that he went to school with, that he interacted with, had unkind things to say about him. And a lot of their unkind things, when you understand them in the context of autism, the way he may stand in a room near a doorway, the way he may look too long at a person, their interviews are different when you know he has autism and you know the characteristics he displays. But those awful comments, those mean comments about him, if the state uses those as aggravators, that's using his autism characteristics.
So this was a pretty interesting argument that
I mean, I agree, though. I can agree with that. You can't, I mean, yeah, people with autism are, can have characteristics that are off-putting sometimes. And if you don't know that person has autism, you might find it just off-putting. I have my youngest here is neurodivergent, and some of the things she does, if I didn't know better, I would be like, what in the world? It's, it would be off-putting, but I know that she's neurodivergent, so I understand why she does some of the things she does. Are we being punked? I hope not, sweetheart. I mean, I don't get me wrong. I think that it's awfully weird that his car was there, and that I think there's a heavy basis for him being the one who did it, but I do understand their argument with that aspect of it. However, he's also done some things and said some things that are like, I heard that he was really mean or angry with some of the girls that he had to do papers for, or like grade papers for, or something to that effect. I can't remember exactly. But I mean, I get what they're saying. I get the point they're trying to argue. That doesn't make comments mean. It's just honest. Right. He sits in one stance for the whole day. Oh, wow. Yeah. And it's like, Mercedes, that's some of the things that I notice with my youngest that's neurodivergent. Some of the things that she says, it's just like, normally we'd be like, why would you say that? That was really mean. But she doesn't understand that it's mean. She's just being honest. And like she does. And if I say, that was mean, she doesn't understand the concept, because she's like, it's just, honest. It's what I see. It's what I preserve, or what I observe. It's how they're acting, it's what they're doing. Like, what's wrong with that? That's literally like what I see, like calling somebody fat or something like that. Well, she is overweight, so why wouldn't I say that? Because she is. So yeah, I get it. Excuse me. Genevieve said, from the court website, legal assistance programs provide free civil legal services to income-eligible people in the form of direct representation in crisis situations, advice, referrals, and self-help. Thank you for that. Maybe he was stern and grading, not mean. It's possible. Absolutely. I mean, you've had teachers that you thought were mean, and they might not have been really mean. They might have just been stern. They don't want his autism held against him at sentencing. They just want to benefit. They just want it to benefit him. I mean, yeah, I can see that point too. The comment from his friends. Yeah. I mean, but I can see that too. Is Debbie leaving? See, I don't get on my comment. Right now I'm watching Law and Crime. Debbie, if you were in here and I didn't see you and I didn't say, hey, I'm sorry. Because I see Abella saying, bye, Debbie, see you soon. And I don't see a Debbie. So I apologize if I didn't see you.
Ann Taylor made. The prosecution said, though, that it won't be using Kohburger's autism diagnosis against him. Here's Assistant Attorney General Jeff Nye.
The state has no plans whatsoever to use the autism during the penalty phase as any kind of aggravation whatsoever. There is no plan to put on students from the university to talk about their personal views of this individual. Yeah. To be quite frank, if we get to a penalty phase, we have a lot better aggravating evidence than the fact that he has level 1 autism. And frankly, it's just not a persuasive argument to ask a jury to impose the penalty of death because someone has autism.
So this next motion is really important because it has to do with Brian Kohburger's family being in the courtroom during the trial. Prosecutors have said they may call members of Kohburger's family to testify, so they can't be in the courtroom until after they do so. That
Bad Girl said, I think he resented women because he didn't know how to interact with them. And that goes back to the incel aspect of this. A lot of people have said that he's an incel. Hey, Maddie's mama, good to see you. Is he the first neurodivergent serial killer? I mean, I think if we went back and tested some of the original serial killers, we would definitely find aspects of neurodivergency, if I had to guess. Oh, Firefly is Debbie. Okay. Well, Debbie, aka Firefly, I hope you have a good day, love. Oh, no, what did I do? Hold on. It's still here. I just took it off the screen. All right.
that made it sound like they may be cooperating with prosecutors, but Kohburger's lawyers say not so fast.
The state submits that by simply placing our client's family on its witness list, that is enough to warrant exclusion, and further that they may call family members. I want to note that they have not subpoenaed them. The state's attorneys have not interviewed them, and they know that Mr. Kohburger's family does not have any interest in helping him, in helping them. They also know from watching all of Mr. Kohburger's video visits how much his family loves him and supports him, and that he is absolutely dependent on them, having been in isolation for almost 2.5 years. And by the time we get to trial, it will be almost 3 years. His parents attend every court hearing, and the only reason that they are not here in person is that they do not have the money to fly back and forth from the East Coast. If they had the financial resources, they would be here in person every single court date. Sequestration of witnesses under IRE 615 is discretionary. The language in the statute is that they may be excluded by the court. This means that there's court discretion in that decision, and there's a reason for that.
So that was some really interesting information that we learned from Kohburger's lawyer. His family is standing behind him. Here's what Ashley Jennings said in
That's interesting that they made sure to present it in court that he is supported by his family. Like they really wanted to reiterate that. That's interesting to me.
response.
In no way is the state intending to use its subpoena power in order to exclude Mr. Kohburger's family from the courtroom. The state's not aware of any authority to support this argument that the defendant has a Sixth Amendment right to have his family in the courtroom. He, of course, under the Sixth Amendment has the right to a public trial, but that's not his choosing of who is in that courtroom. Totally understand it's within your discretion to allow certain immediate family members in the courtroom to support Mr.
The reason you
Kohburger.
can't simply take up whatever family members you may need to testify in your case in chief right at the beginning. Other than, obviously I know you have a narrative on how you want to lay these things out, but what I will tell you is both sides ought to get used to the idea that with a 3-month trial, the trial schedule will not be held hostage to your narrative. In other words, we'll be taking things out of order, stopping witnesses to put another one on to make sure we get them through them and picking them up again. And so is there a reason you couldn't call whatever family members you need right away?
Well, I will say, we have no intention of calling all the family members. We have the intention of calling a few of the family members who serve certain purposes. I can't think of a reason that we couldn't. Obviously, it's not ideal. It's completely out of context. It's out of order.
This is like a gumbo. You are going to put all the pieces that go into the pot. And at the end of the day, the jury's going to decide whether it's a good soup or not from the state's perspective. And so I think we get too obsessively stuck on the idea of exactly the order these things need to come in, right? And so I'm not sure why you couldn't call the family members you need up front and then we take away this concern. I can certainly understand from the defense perspective the need and desire to have the defendant's support family here in the courtroom.
Yeah.
I do too. And I guess my preference would be for that, even though it would be out of context and interfere with the state's preference of how to present its case. And I think I do take issue with the defendant being able to direct how the state presents its case to a jury.
So Judge Hippler basically told the prosecutors to adjust and call whichever Kohburger family members they need to call early in the trial so they can be in the courtroom to support him. Now, we've heard a lot about Brian Kohburger's Amazon account, and prosecutors have said he bought a K-bar knife and sheath on Amazon in March of 2022, 8 months before the murders. As lawyers say, testimony about click activity on that account is unreliable and shouldn't be allowed at trial.
You also just proffered that, that based on the information that you understand, that equates to a purchase. And I've put a declaration in front of you from an expert that says that Amazon doesn't work exactly that way. And that's the problem, that when it is represented as a click, that indicates to the average person that he sat at a desk and clicked and made a purchase when there's a lot more to them.
And maybe I'm completely out to lunch, but as I understand it, to buy something on Amazon, you got to put it in your shopping cart and hit purchase.
Actually, you don't even have to do that. You can click buy now and don't even have to put it in your shopping cart, and it just will show up. You pay for it and it shows up. The family member should be there 100%. Something's wrong with my phone. It keeps changing everything I say. I'm sorry, Rhonda. Yeah. He never bought the K-bar knife, they're saying. He just clicked and looked at it. Interesting. It's autocorrect. Hey, Angie, good to see you. Good to see you, love. I got 2 big K-bar knives next to my bed and the machete. Does that make me a murderer? No, it does not. I actually have a machete, too. But it's for hiking and camping and stuff. It's actually in the boat with the camping stuff.
Am I wrong about that?
That is a step, but how it gets in your cart and what items get in your cart really has to do with the whole model and the ecosystem of the way that Amazon works, right? And so the state wants to apply in an argument. They will apply intent to purchase a K-bar to get to November 13th, 2022.
The evidence to argue at closing arguments.
But we still have to have testimony that explains those things in between.
Now, Ashley Jennings says this shouldn't even be up for discussion.
Judge, this is pretty simple. Shane Cox and Mike Douglas, since he gets brought up, they're fact witnesses. They're not going to have opinions. They review records. They're going to testify to what those records show. Shane Cox's testimony is laid out in the supplemental amended disclosure. This is exactly what he's going to testify to. And what he's going to say, he's very careful. And how
Kimmy C123, thank you so much for the super sticker. I really appreciate that. That was so sweet and supportive of you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I can't look and see what it is right now because I've got Law and Crime on my phone so I can see when they come back to court. But I really appreciate that. Thank you. Hey, Tony, good to see you. Thank you so much. That was so sweet of you. So sweet. And we're back. She's coming in to sit down, so we'll hop right on over to this trial. Let's hop, skip, and jump. We'll hop, skip, and jump. Hold on. All right.
2 exhibits, which I understand the state has an objection to, and I don't know if you want to do that in front of the jury.
Okay.
The jury has not come back in
Why don't
yet.
we take a look and see what it is?
Sure.
Thank you.
It's been pre-marked as defense exhibit D as in David and defense exhibit U as in under.
Okay.
The two handmade maps by Mr. Morales diagrams.
Okay. All right, and I'll hear the state's objection to the maps.
Your Honor, these are hand-drawn exhibits by the defendant. I believe that I'm not sure quite frankly what their purpose is. If they're for demonstrative purposes, there is incorrect information on these things. There are hand-drawn arrows. There are directional indications that the state does not agree with the directional indications. It is has self-serving arrows. I'm not quite sure what those are all about, which is again requires beyond the testimony of the defendant at this point.
What is the purpose of the introduction of the diagrams?
Mr. Morales is going to testify in regard to the inside of the apartment where he was and what he saw and what he observed. And the maps, Your Honor, and don't forget, he's been incarcerated for 5 years. He doesn't have the ability to go ahead and duplicate that the way that the state does, though they've had this for a long period of time. He can testify in regard to the location of the house and the side streets, what he observed. It's important next. And certainly the state can cross-examine him for admissibility purposes. I think they're both admissible. They're demonstrable.
Why don't you just lay the foundation with the witness outside the presence of the jury at this
Thank you.
point in time?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Morales, I have 2 exhibits. We're going to start with D as in David, Your Honor.
Okay.
Okay. Can you identify this exhibit?
Yes, I made it.
Okay. And when did you make that document?
Like a couple of months ago.
Okay. And where did you make that document?
Where?
Yeah.
In
Where
my
were you?
In my cell.
In your cell.
I cannot hear him, Your Honor.
In my cell.
Myself.
You, Jose, the fan is really
All
loud,
right,
so
yeah.
you got to talk like twice as loud as you thought you wanted to.
Okay.
All right. So what does exhibit D as in David that's in front of you there? What does that depict?
Is the inside of 6.5 Myrtle Ave?
Okay. Now you're going to testify in regard to what occurred at 6.5 Myrtle. Would that assist you to go ahead in your testimony to the jury?
Yes.
Is that why you prepared this document?
Yes.
So that you could reference it?
Yes.
And now I'm going to show you what's also been marked as Exhibit U as an under. Okay. Could you take a look at that, sir?
Yes.
What does that depict?
The area around 6.5 Myrtle Ave?
Okay. And that's the streets that surround 6.5 Myrtle?
Yes.
Where you've been testifying and you're about to testify. You were on in the morning of December 1st,
Yes.
and it shows the side streets, correct?
That's correct.
Objection, Your Honor. He's leading the witness.
It's a proffer.
I understand what it is, but he should still be creating his own foundation.
Attorney Stein. Are you done with the proper?
I would just, all right, Mr. Morales, does the map area that you created, does that show the side streets?
It does.
And would that also help you testify in front of the jury here?
Yes, it will.
Okay. And in regard to the directions north, south, east, and west, where did you get those designations?
From a Connecticut atlas.
From an
map.
atlas?
Yeah.
Okay. And they both would help you testify?
Yes, they will.
Okay. I have no other questions. Thank you.
Attorney Stein.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you wish to be heard?
Oh, I thought that you were about to say something.
No, no,
I apologize. All right. With regard to demonstrative evidence, Your Honor, it has to be a fair and accurate representation of what it portrays or conveys. It needs to be helpful or necessary to make the witness's testimony understandable to the trier of fact. It has to have a reasonable tendency to prove or disprove a material fact, to shed some light upon its materiality. And to this extent, we have 100 pictures of the inside of 6.5 Myrtle Street in evidence in this case, as well as several maps that were introduced through various witnesses with regard to camera locations, as well as other things along that line. To start to admit this self-drawn, self-serving demonstrative evidence, I do not believe that this is going to lend any substantial assistance to the jury in any of these issues.
All right, so Attorney Stein, those are the state's exhibits. This is the defendant's case. The defendant's testifying. He indicated it would help and assist his testimony to the jury. He also indicated what was purported to be displayed in those diagrams. I acknowledge they're not to scale. That's subject to cross-examination. Also, he indicated that they represent that area as he believes it to be, and they represent also authentically the inside of that apartment. So for those reasons, and the reasons that those items can be cross-examined relative to scale and any inaccuracies you believe are depicted in those particular exhibits, I'm going to allow the exhibits to come in as full exhibits.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you. All right, I'll take those back, Mr. Morales, please. Thank you. Attorney Governor. Why don't we mark them as full now? Thank you.
Your Honor, I'm going to be using the 911 call
Okay.
just so the court's aware, so we're going to have some technical.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
What are the letters of those, please?
Your Honor, the inside of the apartment is D as in David,
Okay,
and the street map
yes,
is U as in under.
okay. All right, so court has accepted into evidence as full D and U on behalf of the defense. We'll call the jury, I'll bring the jury in, please. Thank you.
Okay, but
Counsel, please stipulate to the return of our jurors.
stipulate to the present, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Attorney Gavin, you may proceed.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Okay, Mr. Morales, I believe where we left off, you indicated that you had gone outside to smoke. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay. And you indicated that you were smoking PCP at that time.
I was.
Objection, Your Honor, again. At this point, we're restating the testimony.
Okay, overruled. We took a break, counsel. You may continue.
I did.
You were smoking PCP.
I did, yes.
Okay, and what effect did the PCP have on you?
Well, it made me lose my focus. I got blurry, disoriented. I lost my balance. I couldn't see clear.
Okay, and then you said, I believe we left off that you had testified that you went back into the apartment. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right, and you went into the bathroom area. And I think that's where we left off, Your Honor. Okay, great. Sir, I'm gonna show you two exhibits that have been marked as full exhibits. One is the exhibit D as in David, and one is exhibit U. So we just take a second here, okay?
All right.
Me too.
Your Honor, for the record, I'm gonna publish exhibit D as in David.
Fine.
Okay. Mr. Morales, can you see that exhibit?
Yes, I can.
Yes, David? Can you
Yes.
tell us who made that diagram?
I did.
Okay, and where did you do that?
It's of 6.5 Myrtle Ave.
6.5 Myrtle Ave.
Yes.
Can you just, I want you to describe, go slow, describe for us what is depicted in the exhibit.
All right. So we have the outside deck in the front. The walkway in, you got the screen door, the door, then you got a little towel area. That's where you put your stuff before you get into the open living space.
All right, so just 1 second, just if you could look at the monitor. You said the deck area, correct?
Yes,
And you said there was a doorway,
yes,
and there was a screen door and a secure door, correct?
that's correct.
And then a tile area?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
And then we go into the living area.
Okay, is that over here?
Yes.
All right, what else is depicted?
Then we have a closet right in the upper corner. Well, right next to the towel. That's the closet. Yep. Then we have the kitchen,
Okay,
and it's like an island with the stove in the middle.
okay, in the kitchen area?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Then we have the dresser that I placed there to kind of make an illusion of a bedroom.
Okay, is that where it says room?
No, right in the middle above the bed.
Oh, I see, yes, I'm sorry.
You see the dress? Yes, yes.
Okay, so just so the record's clear, in the sort of middle of the middle of the diagram, it says bureau, correct?
Yes.
Okay, that's what you were referring to.
That's just, yes.
Okay, yep. What else is
Then we have the room that you just pointed in.
this one?
Yes.
In the top left-hand corner.
And we have the laundry room next to the bed, the bedroom area.
Okay, was that over here, sir?
Yes. You have the dryer and the washer in there.
D and a W?
Yes.
Okay,
And the bathroom.
okay. And what was in the bathroom?
The bathroom, we have the tub, the toilet, the sink, and a little dresser where we put the towels and stuff like that.
Okay, and sir, there are indications on the outside. Do you see this?
Yes, that's where West Street is at.
Okay, is that the side street? from
Yes.
San Myrtle?
That's the side street.
And how about on the top portion?
That's Cottage Avenue. That's the one that is behind 6.5 Myrtle. That's the one to the garage.
Your Honor, I'm now going to publish Exhibit U as an under. All right, Mr. Morales, I want to go slow here again. You see Exhibit U? Can you
Yes.
see that up on?
It's upside down.
That better?
Yep, there you go.
All right, so let's start with the easy thing. Can you tell me where
Yes,
6.5
Jen.
Myrtle is?
It's right in the middle, right there. Yes,
Is that, and that's the residence that Christine was residing in?
yes.
That you referred to? Okay, and what street runs in front of 6.5 Myrtle? Sorry, which one? Poorly worded. What street runs in front of the address 6.5 Myrtle Avenue?
Myrtle Avenue.
Okay, and then does Myrtle Avenue continue along?
Yes,
All right, now, there are diagrams here. It says 2, 6, 6.5. Can you identify that for the jury?
yes. Those are the next door houses.
Okay, next door neighbors.
Yes,
All right, and how about this designation here, Judson Place?
that's the street to the side of the house next to 2
Okay,
Myrtle Ave.
all right, and 6.5 Myrtle, was that contained between Judson Place and West Street?
It is.
Okay, and you can access Myrtle Avenue by going down Cottage, correct?
Yes,
And you can go up Judson, correct?
yes.
And you can make a right on Myrtle,
Yeah, yes.
and you can circle around and come back down on West.
That's correct.
And you can either go straight onto Mott Street or you can turn on Cottage.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. So let's go back. Let's go back to you at the apartment on Sunday morning, 12/1. Okay, do you need any of these diagrams?
Yes, that one.
This
Yes.
one? Okay, let's put this up. I want you to tell, and Your Honor, just for the record, that's Exhibit D as in David.
Thank you.
I want you to go slow, and I only want you to tell us what you observed. You went back into the apartment. Tell us in your own words what you personally observed.
All right, so I went from the deck into the apartment and I went into the bathroom and I was sitting right on the toilet, looking out the window towards the front of the house. From across the street, I saw movement first, and then I saw two individuals walking on the sidewalk across the street.
On what street?
On Myrtle Avenue.
Okay.
One of the individuals started walking across the street towards the apartment, and he did a bit of a jog towards the apartment.
Okay.
When I saw that, warning signs and bells and alarms started running through my head.
What action did you take after you made that observation?
My first intention was to run.
What did you do? Just tell us. You saw it, made that observation. What did you do?
Well, I tried to work my way out the bathroom to close the front door, but because I was so intoxicated, I couldn't really move. So I made it to where the bureau is at, around that area, in the little kitchen area, right in between. I made it to like right here, right in
Okay,
between
let
the.
me just, we have to put this on the record, Mr. Morales.
Yes,
The bathroom area is over here,
yes.
okay, and you came out,
So I stumbled my way out the bathroom
okay?
and made it to right where the bureau is at, next to the up the corner, yeah, but up by the kitchen.
Okay. There,
No, a little bit above that.
a little bit above that.
Yeah, a little bit more, right there, around right there.
All right, so just so the record, you've indicated on the exhibit, it says bureau, and then there's the kitchen area, correct?
Yes,
All right, and you were between the bureau and the kitchen area?
yes.
Okay, and what steps did you take next?
Well, because I was so intoxicated that I couldn't do what I really wanted to do. I went in my pocket, I grabbed my phone, and I dialed 911.
Okay, let's just stop there. Your Honor, we're going to play Exhibit 162 at this juncture with the court's permission.
That's fine.
Mr. Morales, can you identify whose voice is on State's Exhibit 162?
Yes, that's my voice.
That's you calling on.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
What number house on Myrtle Ave? Where are you on Myrtle Ave? Where are you on Myrtle Ave? What number? Hello? Hello?
Thank you. Mr. Morales, you hear a female voice in the background. Can you identify for the jury whose voice that was?
That's Christine's voice.
Okay, so just tell us in your own words. You said you got your cell phone, you called 911, and what happened with Christine?
Well, Christine was sitting on the bed. She was watching TV.
Okay, all right,
So she had no idea what was going on.
okay,
Objection calls for speculation, Your Honor.
Sustained.
okay.
Just hold on a moment. Let me just strike that part of the response that said she had no idea what was going on. Thank you.
All right, this Did you have a conversation with Miss Holloway at that point?
No,
Okay. Did she come over and talk on the phone
no.
in the background?
She was talking to me.
That's what I'm asking you.
Yes,
Okay, okay. There's no question that's Miss Holloway's voice at that point,
yes.
correct? All right.
You're good,
Now,
Teresa.
now, you made the 911 call. I want you to go very, very slow for me now, okay?
Okay.
Tell us what happened next, what your observations were, what happened next.
So I called 911. I don't know how much time went by. Seconds. I felt hit. I got hit on the right side of my face. I lost my balance. I already had no balance to begin with. I lost my balance. I fell. I tried to lean on the little kitchen island. I couldn't get to it because I was not that close to it. So I fell. I got on my floor, on my knees and my hands, and I got hit right around my chest area. I stood there, laid out on the floor, high, extremely in a daze from I had just finished smoking a blunt. So at the same time, I'm listening, but I'm on the floor and I can hear that there's a struggle going on in the bed area. There's a fight. I hear screams. At the same time, I hear that somebody leaves the apartment. I see that somehow Christine got away from whoever it is that she was fighting with and tried to run out the apartment to go after the guy that left the apartment with Vanessa. The guy that she was struggling with was chasing her. She's put can you put the diagram? Yeah.
What do you want to say?
The one inside the apartment.
You want to see the
The
map?
other one.
You
The
wanna-
one that's over there. Yeah, that one.
Okay, I'm sorry. So this is Exhibit D.
Yes.
Okay, you can use this if you want to explain.
So from the little kitchen area right there, the kitchen island, that's where I was at in the living room
Okay.
area. And I hear the struggle going on in the bed area.
This is notated the bed over here.
Yes. I'm on the floor. I'm on the floor over there by the kitchen island. And I hear that somebody leaves the apartment first while Christine is still struggling by the bed area.
Okay.
She gets away from the person that she's struggling with and run towards the outside.
Towards the door area.
Yeah, towards the door area.
Where it says
But
hold on, where it says entrance.
yes, but she doesn't get that far.
Okay.
She gets to in between the carpet and the tiles.
Right,
And
let's go slow. Hold on. There's a checkerboard.
that's the tiles.
Hold on. Just hold on. I know you're interested.
All right, okay.
In the front of the doorway, was that area tiled?
Yes,
Okay, right up to the end of the closet and the bathroom?
yes,
Correct?
yes, correct.
And what about in the center area of the living room? Was that tiled?
No, that's carpet.
Yeah, they're gonna tear them apart.
We were oriented, go ahead, continue what you saw.
So I'm on the floor. Christine running towards the outside of the apartment. She either tripped or collapsed.
Hey, Becky.
By the half of her body's on the towel, the other half of the body's on the carpet.
Half of her body was on the tiled area by the doorway and
Yes.
half on the carpet area.
Yes. The guy that's running behind her stops and hits her with a crowbar. He gets up, he starts pacing. Bitch, you scratched me. That's what he says.
I'm sorry, objection to what he said.
Sustained.
Can't
All right.
testify with somebody else.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, the jury, I am just going to strike that portion of the response, which said, I believe, quote, something about striking me or bitch something.
Right.
All right, so whatever was said, please strike from your notes if you have them. Thank you.
Okay, so the gentleman.
So-
Okay. I know you're anxious. The gentleman is still there, Christine is there, and you're there, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and just in your own words, what happened next?
So he hits her first one time. He gets up. He's paced. He's angry and he's cussing out. He hits her 2 more times. As he's hitting her, I'm still on the floor. I see that when he's pulling, he got a crowbar in his hand. I see the crowbar. When he's pulling back, stuff is just pouring out of Christine's head and splashing all over the place. I tried to do something, but I can't because I'm stuck. I'm PCP and I'm stuck. So
What does stuck mean?
I couldn't move. I was in the verge of passing out, of blacking out on the PCP. The same thing that happened to me the Friday night when I.
Let's get back to here, okay? You were stuck, what happened next?
So the only thing that I can do is scream. I try to scream, stop. He looks at me. He points at Christine with the crowbar, and he said,
Objection.
Being offered, remember, it's being offered for the effect it had on here. There's an exception.
Objection, Your Honor. It's self-serving, completely
All
self-serving.
right, so I don't know what the statement is going to be,
I understand.
but
I didn't want to have that.
that's all right. I'm going to ask the jury just to step out for a moment. Thank you.
Thank you.
So you see these people murdering your girl, and they have the baby, and you're just stuck. I mean, it didn't, like, you would sober up in that moment to the extent of being able to do something to help. Jury's not going to buy you stood there and didn't do a fucking thing. They're going to convict your ass.
All right, counsel, the witness was just about to say someone said something. You're claiming a hearsay objection, or that you're not entering it for the truth of the matter, it's the effect on the listener. I am getting the sense from the state that they feel it's too prejudicial to be heard in front of the jury. What is the statement that is anticipated here?
What you, the witness.
Sure.
Okay. Now, to the point where we just stopped, Mr. Morales, okay?
yes,
Keep your voice
Yeah.
up, okay? You said the individual said something to you, correct?
yes.
And what was it that was said to you?
He's pointing at Christine with the crowbar. He's looking at me. He said to me that if I call police, the same thing will happen to your daughter. And
That's what he said. That's the offer, Your Honor. And where it's relevant is in regard to what effect it had on him in regard to calling the police.
I'm sorry.
Good point, Jenny.
So in other words, it's not being offered for the truth of the matter. However, you're telling me that the effect is basically the rest of his testimony is going to be that he didn't call the police because of that statement.
What effect it had on him in regard to his.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
Does the state wish to be heard on that?
Yeah, Your Honor, it's completely self-serving. He's already testified that he
But
was.
it's not being claimed as hearsay. It's being claimed not for the truth of the matter. It's being claimed for the effect that it had on Mr. Morales. Jury will be given a limited instruction.
There was already testimony with regards to him being stuck and he couldn't do anything. So now we're offering a non-hearsay statement to show that what effect it
Attorney
had on him.
Durso, this is the defendant's testimony. It's subject to cross-examination. The proffer is that it's going to be stated that that's why he didn't call the police. That shows an effect on the listener, so I will allow it.
I would ask for a limiting instruction with regards to the statement.
Taxpayers, Orange Rose. Yeah, and I get that. Like, I know being stuck from drug use, but to that extent, like he would sober up almost immediately, I would think. He doesn't know the imaginary culprit so far. Hey, Tamar, sorry. Good to see you.
Please stipulate to the return of the jurors.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Attorney Gavin, I'll allow you to have your client complete that particular part of his answer, and then I will provide a limiting instruction to the jury. So please stop at that point.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Morales, just one question to answer. When we broke, you said that the man that was in the apartment said something to you. What did he say?
He said to me, he was standing there, he was pointing at
What
Christine.
did he say to
Objection, Your
you?
Honor, it's non-responsive.
Mr. Morales, what did he say to you?
He said that if I call police, the same thing that happened to Christine will happen to my daughter.
All right.
Just stop right there.
Objection noted, Attorney Stein. Members of the jury, the witness has now testified to hearing a statement of another. Normally, that testimony is known as hearsay and not permitted. There is an exception to that rule when the witness testifies that he or she did something because of what he or she heard. In this particular case, it doesn't matter who uttered the statement or how the speaker gathered that information or whether the statement is truthful or accurate. It matters that someone uttered the words and the witness did something on hearing those words. So in this instance, you may not consider what the witness heard for the truth of the words spoken. You may consider those words only for the reason they are offered, and that is solely for the limited purpose to explain what this witness did upon hearing those words. So now I'll let you continue, Attorney Gavin.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Morales. After the individual said that, what happened next?
He walked out of the apartment.
Okay, now, what at that point, sir, what did you do?
I struggled to get up. I stumbled my way into the front door. I came out onto the door and the deck area.
Okay, hold on for just 1 second.
Attorney Gavin, we haven't connected the effect on the listener. We haven't responded to that. The effect on the listener, we haven't connected that yet.
Oh, okay. It's going to continue for the next.
I
3 or 4
understand
days.
that, but we need to, those words, what did he do upon hearing those words, or what was the effect on his conduct?
What, when you heard the words that the man said to you, what effect did it have on you?
It terrified me.
Okay, all right. And then did those words have an effect on you in regard to your conduct the next 2 or 3 days?
Yes.
And Your Honor, I'll represent to you that I'm going to take.
Well, I need to, for the jury, I want to connect it now. Just ask what it was. What was the
Okay.
effect of those words?
Okay, as a consequence of hearing that, what effect did that have on you? Did you call the police?
No, I didn't.
Objection leading.
Sustained.
What effect did it have on you?
I was afraid to call the police.
All right, thank you.
Thank
you. You may.
Okay, thank you. All right, now, you said the man left, and I believe you testified that you were in the location of the kitchen living room area where my dad is. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what happened next.
Well, I got up. I stumbled my way into the doorway.
Okay, hold on. So you're in the living room area. You went to the doorway area
Yes.
where it says entrance.
Yes.
Okay, what did you do?
I went into the screen door a little bit past the door, and I looked to see where he was going. And I saw him go towards the corner. At the same time, I saw his headlights coming in.
Okay, now let me just put up Exhibit U, okay? Can you see Exhibit U?
Yes.
All right, I want you to go slow for us. I believe you just indicated that you saw the gentleman going towards the corner. Is that correct?
Yes.
Which corner are you referring to?
Towards the corner of Myrtle Ave and West Street.
So, hold on 1 second. This is 6.5 Myrtle, correct?
Yes,
And you say the corner, this is West Street over here,
yes,
and that's Myrtle Ave over there,
correct.
correct? And you said you saw him in the corner area?
Yes.
Okay, and then what did you see next?
Well, I saw headlights that were coming down from Myrtle Ave, slow.
Nice and slow. Was it going from Myrtle Avenue towards West Street?
Yes.
Okay, and what happened? What did you observe next?
Well, I heard the car door open, but the car didn't stop. He only slowed down, and the guy that ran out of my house or the apartment got in the car.
Okay, and where did the car go after that?
He went down West Street.
Okay, let's go nice and slow. The car then went down West Street towards the back of 6.5 Myrtle?
Yes.
Okay, and when it, were you able to observe that with your own eyes?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and then.
We're
what
gonna
else
have to
did
look
you
into
see?
that.
That's it. He went down West Street. I saw him go down. I saw him coming from Myrtle Ave, turning left onto West Street and going down.
Okay, and did there come a point that you weren't able to see the vehicle
Yes.
after that point? Okay,
Yeah.
all right. What'd you do after that?
I went back inside the apartment.
Okay, I want you to go slow. What'd you do when you got back inside the apartment?
I turned around, I closed the door behind me, and I looked into the apartment.
What'd you
And
see?
Christine was right there in front of me and by the tile area where I said that she got hit. And she was laying on top of a whole bunch of items, clothes, toys, the diaper pail was in that area too. And that little area was where Vanessa used to go and grab things and bring them from all over the apartment. She'll take stuff from the
Your Honor, it's not
hamper.
responsive.
Just what you saw. You can't say what Vanessa did.
Well, Christine was lying on a pile of stuff that was already there. The apartment wasn't that organized. It was just a whole bunch of toys and stuff, and it was blood all over the place.
Okay, all right. So you went back into the apartment, you saw Christine, she was on these items. What did you do next, sir?
I'm this is just 10 minutes, not even, since when I smoked the PCP. I went inside the apartment. I tried to look for Vanessa everywhere. I looked in the rooms. I couldn't find her. The car seat was gone.
All right, hold on 1 second. What was gone?
The car seat.
What are you referring to?
The Vanessa's car seat.
Okay,
The base that the car seat was hooked into, it was going with the car seat.
okay. And what did you do next? Just tell us in your own words, what'd you do next?
I started looking for my phone.
Okay,
I found the phone in the little kitchen on the floor. I grabbed it.
let me stop you at this point. Approximately what time in the morning was it at this point?
Probably like somewhere in between.
If you know. You're not
Late
sure?
night, late night.
Okay. You're not sure of the exact time?
1:50 something, who
Okay.
knows, one.
Okay. Was there a bed located in the apartment?
A what?
A bed?
Yes,
Was there a bed? Did you go to the bed?
yes, I did.
Objection, Your
Okay.
Honor, he's leading at this point again.
What did you do next in regard to being in the apartment?
So once I found the phone, I tried to make a call.
Okay,
It didn't go through.
okay,
I went and I sat on the bed.
okay. And what happened when you were in the bed?
I just dozed off.
All right, okay. I know you didn't have a stopwatch on, but can you tell us approximately how long you dozed off for?
An hour or two.
Okay, all right.
I
Now,
went into PCP zone.
Objection, Your Honor.
okay,
Sustained. We'll
Move to strike, please.
We'll strike the responses as I went into.
You know, Cindy, I was thinking the same thing. What a thoughtful kidnapper to take the baby's car seat and keep her safe after mutilating her mother. Like, and that's what the jury's going to be thinking too. You're so stuck, you can't move to protect the mother of your child and your child. I mean, I don't know. And then they took the car seat, they took the diaper bag, they took the blanket, and you're just stuck staring at them. Like, no, he shouldn't have done this. He really messed up.
To PCP zone.
Okay. How were you feeling when you awoke from the 1 or 2 hour nap there?
So when the stuck portion of the high subsided and I started regaining a little bit of control of my senses, so to speak, I got out of the bed, I stood up from the bed and I walked towards where Christine was at.
Okay. And what'd you do next?
I was looking at it.
Okay. Did you do anything?
Yes. So
Tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what your next steps were.
So I'm still high. The fan is on. I see a bag. I started taking somewhat. I wanted to call police, but at the same time, I kept hearing those words in my head. I grabbed there was a bag on the floor. I grabbed it and I started putting stuff in it.
What kind of bag?
A garbage bag.
Okay. And you said you were putting stuff in it. Do you
Yes.
recall what it was you were putting in it?
Yes.
What was it? Tell the
So
jury.
it was a small white plastic, the regular garbage bags. So I started putting some of the stuff that was on the floor inside a garbage bag.
What stuff was on the floor? You have to tell
The
them what.
blood, the stuff that had blood in it, everything that was the whole mess.
Okay. Can you just have to be a little bit more specific what you put in
So
the bag?
everything that I saw around Christine, I started putting it inside bags.
Okay. And then how many bags did you use to put stuff in?
4, 5 bags.
All right. And what'd you do with the bags?
I put them on the front deck.
Okay. All right, sir. And then after you put them on the front deck, just tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what happened next.
This is early in the morning now. So from when that happened, I dozed stuff for a couple of hours. Then I started doing that. When I came out of that, I saw that I freaked out. I was freaking out. I didn't know what to do. I started putting the items in the bag. I put the bags in the front deck. I come inside. I start putting other stuff. I put it in the front deck. And then around
He was higher than Bird Twat.
6 o'clock, around 5:30 in the morning or something like that, early in the morning, all this freaking out got me wanting to smoke a cigarette. So really bad. But I didn't have no cigarettes.
Okay. All right. And what did you do next?
I was gonna go to the gas station to buy cigarettes.
Can I just inquire? We're about to go into a long videotape.
Oh,
And
okay.
this, I know we usually break around 4:30. I'll continue, or we can break if that's convenient.
No,
for
it's
you all.
probably a good time to break because it's clear we will not complete this witness by the end of the day.
Thank you.
So there's no sense getting into a video for 10 minutes. So, all right. So at this point in time, the court does intend to adjourn for the day. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, as I always do, I just want to remind you of your obligations under your oath. Again, please abide by
Okay.
those obligations, and we will see you back
Yeah, but
tomorrow
Bird
morning at
Twat.
9:30 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you.
Court stands adjourned.
All right. Well, I can't say I didn't see this coming, but I thought that baby we would get to get through his testimony at least. So I reckon I'll see y'all back in the morning so we can finish Mr. Morales' testimony. Although I don't think it's a good idea to quit testimony in the middle of him testifying, but he's definitely sealed his fate, in my opinion. They're not going to believe that you just stood there while you watched somebody commit homicide of such a brutal nature on the mother of your child and took your child out the door and you just stood there in the kitchen stuck in all of the things. Wow. Yeah, Hannah, I'm kind of throwing a tantrum with you. She should not adjourn during testimony. Now he can recant. Really? I didn't even think about it. Leonard, this guy is guilty as sin. And he just made the worst mistake of his life. He just made the worst mistake of his life by getting up on that stand. I thought he wouldn't get done, but I don't know. Girl, I am. Actually, Keo told me about this case, that it was going to trial the same days as Lori Daybell's was. And, so many people are covering Lori Daybell. I was like, hey, we'll cover this trial because it sounds kind of interesting. And then we found out that her brain was removed from her skull and all of that. I made a short video on it. So Keo told me about it. That's how I knew. I don't know that they made him take the stand. I think he wanted to take the stand. Word of the day, bird twat, or phrase of the day. Yep, higher than bird twat. You're saddling up. Googly-eyed creeper. He's got them googly eyes, said Chuck-a-Legs. Creeper's weak too. I know, she's been busy doing stuff and had some things going on too. Ama said, yeah, he lost me completely when he decided not to call the cops. If he decided to place items in the trash bag and go buy cigarettes. Right, like why at no point you decided to call the cops? He's hiding way more than he knows. I think he remembers committing the homicide. I really do. Yeah, I just watched these random dudes unalive my girlfriend and steal my daughter. I was so strung out after they left, I just needed a cigarette. Exactly. And the jury's supposed to believe that and just roll with it, right? Like, they're supposed to believe that you just stood there and watched all this shit and you just decided you need a cigarette. Fuck calling the police, though, right?
What? A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit. A bullshit.
Yep. He said it. Well, I love y'all. Thank you for being here and hanging out with me this here day. I hope to see y'all all in the morning. I mean, we'll jump right back into his testimony. All right. I just got convinced he's innocent. Right? Bella said, bullshit. A bullshit. Now I'm thinking about what he just said about gathering everything up and putting things in bags. It's insane. Yeah, I hope y'all have a good evening. I'll see y'all in the morning. I love y'all all. I know, but if I put Inspector BS up, then it'll make it glitch more. So that's the only reason I couldn't. Thank you. Thank you guys for hanging out with me and chatting and for the support. You guys are amazing. I really appreciate y'all sticking out this trial with me. And I love y'all so very much. If nobody's told you, you are important, you are special, and you are loved. And we love you so much. And I hope to see y'all in the morning as we finish Mr. Jose Morales' testimony and watch this train wreck. With that, I love y'all. See you tomorrow. Have a good night. Bye.